everyone from India, from Singapore, and from everywhere out of. So I am Rupanshi Srivastava, the founder of Mike Organization India, and today we'll be having a very amazing. A moment, sir. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes, you are now audible. There was a little bit of an interruption, but you are audible now.
No problem. So, first of all, I have shared the link with everyone now, and I can see many of the people will join now. So, first of all, Sabhi ko namaste. Namaste, everyone. Warm good evening to all of you. Today is a special day for all of us because today is the occasion of Guru Purnima. Guru Purnima, where we, celebrate the efforts and we thank and give the gratitude to our dear teachers, to our dear gurus who has given us a lot of knowledge and learnings in all the way. And we are so fortunate in all that in all that journey. So we really thank to all our leaders, to all our guests, and fortunately to all our people out there. Once again, sorry for the network issue. There was some little bit network issue due to this. So yes, we were into the discussion of Guru Purnima, and I am heartily delighted and honored to welcome one of the most uh, amazing guru we have with us today, live from Singapore. This is our first international live, and Mike Organization India is an organization which shares the knowledge about the social work and about the work we conduct every day for the people, for the upliftment of society. Here, when we believe what is Guru Purnima, we believe the world's greatest teacher who has created this planet, who has created this universe, who has created this whole Brahmand, which we call as a universe, and given us all learnings, is the greatest God, is Lord Krishna and his values. The Lord Krishna has bestowed a lot of knowledge and energies in the form of human. They have given us created these creatures, animal and human beings to give us the learnings and to know to work for the people and the welfare of society. Krishna, Lord Krishna, through their powerful means, when he teaches or created, this universe, and also through Mahabharata, through Lord Arjun, when he shared all the learnings to him. So that was a time until now, through the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the holy book through which all the Hindus learn. Today, I am grateful and delighted to welcome Dr. Anand Chandrashekhar, who is a senior research faculty at Center of Creative Leadership. Anand Chandrashekhar volunteers and his times with multiple, he is indulged with multiple Hindu organizations through Geeta Jayanti Singapore, the Geeta Jayanti Singapore, Dakshina Bharata Brahmand Sabha, and Chinmay Mission. So basically, these are the Geeta Jayanti Singapore is a mission where they conduct a lot of sessions for youth, for for adults, and classes on Hinduism and Bhagavad Gita. They share an importance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the learnings of the Gita, the Mahabharata, the Lord Krishna, the values, every day, how you can motivate yourself. And this is a lot of things that is really important, that how Lord Krishna has given us the learnings to all of us, and to spread that knowledge across all the youth and adults. The Geeta Jayanti Foundation in Singapore is heading towards that. So it is, we are delighted. This is the first international YouTube live that we have today. And we have Dr. Chandrasekhar with us. Dr. Anand Chandrasekhar, Shishich Anand Chandrasekhar, we are delighted to have you. Also, to share more about a sir, is he is the PhD in International Management at the University of Hawaii and at Manoa. He is a Master of Business Management. He has done from Nenag Technological University from Singapore. And he is also Bachelor of Engineering. He has done pursued his Bachelor of Engineering from Electrical and Electronics Engineering from University of Madras, certified to use CCL owned assessments. So basically, what I wanted to share is a lot of learnings Sri Anand Chandrasekhar has obtained in his life. And today it's delighted and honor for us as an MIC organization family and to the whole community to hear a lot of learnings from you. So how are you, sir? Welcome here. Finally, it's time to hear from you.
Namaste, and thank you very much for having me on your channel. I've read a lot about your organization, my organization. You are doing a lot of service, and I'm more than happy to contribute my little might, whatever little I can do to further the excellent work that you're doing. So thank you for having me on this very auspicious day of Guru Purnima.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a delighted and honor. We are delightful and honored to, have a word with you on this session today and to know more about Geeta Jayanti Foundation and about the Srimad Bhagavad Gita as well. So today, a lot of people are joining and would request everyone to join in fast. So, sir, as I got to know that this is your first YouTube live, and we were discussing today. So, how's that feeling, first of all, sir?
It's great. It's great to be on YouTube Live, and it's great to be doing this on a special occasion and with a special group of people like my organization. And so it's a really divine and enriching experience. Thank you for providing me this experience.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, my first question to you would be, who has started the Geeta Jayanti organization in Singapore, and what is the purpose behind it? Because there is a lot of youths who are connected with us, and especially Singapore is a place where a community from different cultures has been there. So, like, what is the purpose behind it, and how you found it? Like, we need to start the Geeta Jayanti Foundation there.
Okay. So, since it is Guru Purnima, I think it's only apt that I start with a small shlok, which
Yeah.
pays our respects to the Guru Parampara. So let me quickly chant that, and then we will talk about this. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So, we won't be talking here today about the Gita if it were not for the Guru Parampara, or, the succession of gurus who have given us this knowledge. Otherwise, this knowledge would have, long gone. So, that the very fact that we are able to talk here, we owe so much to them. And, it is similar with the story of Geeta Jayanti Singapore also, uh, some great stalwarts, visionaries in 1997, so 25, 26 years ago, started the Geeta Jayanti as a very small gathering. Everyone got together on the Geeta Jayanti day, and everyone chanted the 700 verses of the Gita. So very, very, small beginnings. But the very next year, what happened was the small gathering grew to be slightly bigger. So the Hindu Endowments Board in Singapore, which is in charge of uh, a lot of temples in Singapore and which oversees various Hindu organizations in Singapore, they were really interested in the message of the Gita and the effort which the small group of people, missionaries, were doing. So they decided to support the efforts of this small group of Geeta Jayanti Singapore. So in 1998, it became slightly bigger, and what happened was it was not just one organization which was doing this. See, this is very unique, which you might not be even be able to see in India or in other parts of the world. given that Singapore is such a small nation, we have a very diverse set of people here. We have diverse races. There are Chinese, there are Malays, there are Caucasians, there are Eurasians, there are Indians, and again, India itself being so diverse, we have people from different places in India come here and be in Singapore. So there are different cultural organizations associated with each of these groups, diverse groups that we have in India. Be it the Telugu people, be it the Tamilians, be it the Kannadigas, be it the Punjabis, be it people from Malwa. So we've got so many of these organizations. All of them actually came together under the banner of Geeta Jayanti. So this is very unique because even in India, you don't see all of these organizations coming together under a single banner. But uniquely in Singapore, they all came together and they took turns. So one year, one organization was the lead organization. The next year, another organization took over. So, and everyone else supported that lead organization. So it is actually a wonderful way of how various communities are coming together and working together. For what purpose? Again, the purpose is to get the message of the Bhagavad Gita to everyone. So that was the main objective of having Geeta Jayanti, and everyone coming together to do it. So over the course of the 25 years that Geeta Jayanti has been uh, serving people in Singapore, a lot of new ideas, new events have been incorporated. So somewhere around 2000, we started having competitions for children. Quiz competitions, Gita chanting competitions, oratorical competitions, essay competitions, and so on. Then in 2002, we started something called an International Gita Forum, where we got renowned speakers to come to Singapore and to actually talk on the practical application of the Gita. As a text, it is there, you can chant it, but how do you actually apply it in life? So we had, great minds come and share their views on how does one apply Gita in our life and become, a better person, create a better world, and so on. So that's how Gita Jayanti has progressed. Then we added, cultural events, so because there are people who want to express their love for Gita through arts, through performing arts, through visual arts. So we added that. So it has grown over these 25 years. Last year we celebrated the silver jubilee of Geeta Jayanti, and it's been wonderful having so many people come together under a single banner with a common goal.
Amazing, sir. I think it's a privilege to hear, how beautifully we have developed such an amazing, foundation which shares the importance of, you know, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, learnings of Gita, Lord Krishna's values, to a lot of people across all the cultures in India, abroad. And I think that is how we can, actually fulfill the purpose of our life. So I think it's beautiful to hear that. So thank you so much for sharing, this with all of us. I'm really grateful for that. So my second question to you would be like, I wanted to know, and I think today is Guru Purnima, and on the occasion of Guru Purnima, I wanted to know what is the importance of gurus in one's life? What is actual importance when we talk about a guru? How we correlate this with Bhagavad Gita, and why Lord Krishna is, called as the Jagat Guru, or the supreme teacher of the world. So why Lord Krishna has been so important to all of us, and how this is started. So yeah.
Thank you very much for this question, Rupanshiji. Being Guru Purnima, it is only fit that we start talking about the importance of, having a guru in one's life and how that changes us for the better. So, I think guru in one's life is as important as one's breath. That's how much I can say. We share a lot of things in common with animals. We all want security. We all sleep. We fear. So there are a lot of basic human emotions that we share with animals. But the one thing which distinguishes us as humans is really our ability to think, our ability to do good. So then the question becomes, how does one really understand? How do you understand what are the right things to think about? What are the right actions that one needs to do, and so on? So that guidance, which we would call as dharma, right thought, right speech, right action. This aspect of dharma is something which is unique to us, which makes us different as humans. It makes us different from the animal kingdom. And that is only given by a guru. Now, guru is a word which is used so much in so many different ways these days. Anyone who's an expert is called a guru. Someone who's good at marketing is called a marketing guru. Someone who's good at strategy is called a, oh, the person is a strategy guru, digital marketing guru. We hear so much of this, but the actual meaning of a guru, of the word guru, is someone who removes your ignorance. And this ignorance is not just of subject knowledge. It's not just of physics. It's not just of chemistry. Yes, they are all also gurus, absolutely. They are giving us very important knowledge for functioning in this world. But what is also important is the knowledge of the absolute. So guru is the term in the Shastras, is generally used to refer to someone who teaches what is called as paravidya, or the knowledge of the absolute. So, and the Shastras are very clear in terms of who is a guru. They say a guru must be someone who has learnt the Shastras, who knows the Shastras, but theoretical knowledge alone is not enough. That person should have the experience of the absolute, should have experienced whatever he or she is sharing with others. So those two things, the practical and the theory, both must come together to make someone a guru. That is why we celebrate, someone like, for example, Sri Ramakrishna, guru of Swami Vivekananda, because when Swami Vivekananda went to him and said, "Can you show me God?" Swami Ramakrishna said, "Yes, I can show you. The way I see him, I can show him to you." And no one else, other than someone who has actually experienced it, can make such a statement. So that is where the guru, the status of a guru, is very important for us to lead a dharmic life, and for us to improve ourselves and to improve the world around us. Now, coming to Krishna as a guru, it's very interesting. Krishna never refers to himself as a guru in the entire Bhagavad Gita. He always goes back to the Guru Parampara, and he says, no, the elders have said this, the Vedas have said this, the Shastras have said this. He never calls himself a guru. Okay, so he's always referring to those who have come before him, paying his obeisances to the Guru Parampara and saying, I've got this knowledge from someone. So, I'm transmitting that knowledge to you, and so on and so forth. So, and we celebrate him as a Jagat Guru because, think about the Gita. The Gita is almost like a manual for life. And it is, in a way, a solution to a lot of the issues which we face today. And considering the amount of knowledge that it gives us, no wonder we call him, the guru of the universe. It applies to everyone. His knowledge is not to a particular religion, not to a particular community, not to a particular race, but these are fundamental principles of life. And because these are fundamental principles of life, it applies to everyone in the Jagat, in the universe. So he is the Jagat Guru.
Yes, sir. Entirely and completely, agree to the small little things that you shared today, because when we learn about Lord Krishna's, when we see into our childhood through this Mahabharata and lot of Krishna series and all. Never, Krishna has shared that he is a guru, but yes, his learnings has always been supremely powerful. And today is what we are here just because of his learnings, doing positive things, teaching the positive, sharing the positive energies with all of you. I think he's the one who selected you, and to everyone who are, going to the path of enlightenment and, doing welfare for the society. So I think, truly, grateful to hear this from you, sir. Sir, as we are talking about, and we are into the generation of 2021, 2020, in the 20s now, 22nd century when we talk about it. A lot of Gen Zs are there, a lot of, Gen Alphas will be there. We are the millenniums, and we have seen, an era where we know the faith, we have a faith towards God, we have a faith towards our dharma, our karmas. Sir, what do you feel like how today's generation will know the importance of Gita? How the youth will, come to, feel, or today's generation will know the necessity of, or, the learnings of, the Gita. So just wanted to know like how the youth can follow and how the youth can start correlating and start learning about the Gita. So, yes.
First of all, thank you for making me younger and for including me in the generation of millennials.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, we talked about Jagat Guru, Krishna as a Jagat Guru. So, his teachings, the teaching of the Gita, is not just applicable for a particular generation. Because if it was applicable for a particular generation, after Arjuna had it 5,000 years ago, today we should not be talking about the Gita. If it was only applicable for Arjuna, it should have been long forgotten. There are so many things in history which we have long forgotten. There are so many ancient things which have been lost. We don't even know if we can recover it. But this is a knowledge which has stood the test of time. And it is definitely going to stay even further because the way I see it, it is as much relevant today. In fact, I would say it's probably a little bit more relevant today for the youth than it was probably for Arjuna. And why? If we kind of think about it, uh, let's see where we are today. As compared to, let's say, a couple of generations back. You um, we have a lot more. We have developed a lot more in the sense of the world around us. We have become technologically savvy. We've got a lot of technology which is helping us live longer in a way. Life expectations have gone up, lots of diseases have been eradicated. So the expected lifetime of a person has increased, and we have enough medicine to help us sustain that. You know, Choices have increased. Previously, if I wanted to talk to you, I had to write a letter. A couple of generations back, I had to write a letter, and it would reach you. You would write something back to me, and we would exchange notes. Then came the telephone. We could at least hear each other's voice. Uh, Today, I can do YouTube live with you. I can do YouTube live with anyone in the world at any point in time, any time zone, and we can be connected. So the choices that we have, I could use YouTube as a platform. I can use several other platforms that I have. Even in that, I've got so much of choices. Great. All of this is great. But together with this, we are also noticing one thing, and there is enough research to actually showcase this, that the level of happiness that we are experiencing somehow seems to be going the opposite way. As we are getting more and more technologically savvy, as we are getting connected more and more, we also seem to be disconnected more and more. We seem to find ourselves to be less happy. Previously, we thought if I had 10 choices, it would make me happy. Now, because I have 10 choices, I'm not sure if the one that I chose is the right thing. So what basically happens is I find that I am getting even less happier. So in a context like this, we have to really ask ourselves what stands in the way of us feeling happy. So Rupanshiji, if I were to ask you, what would make you happy? What would you answer?
Sir, I think my work makes me happy, the passion which I'm following right now, and just continuing with my passion. I think it makes me more happy doing welfare, what I really wanted to do always in my life.
Yes. So some actions that we do make us
Yes.
happy. Okay.
Yes.
So something which we desire, if we attain that, it kind of makes us happy.
Yes.
For some people, it's material objects. I get a new car, I get a new the iPhone which is coming out, whatever it is. It makes us happy. Okay. And to get some of those, sometimes you know we need money. So in some ways, money is also to
Making
some
people
extent a reflecting of happiness. It does give us some amount of happiness.
definitely.
But then we do notice that happiness is going down, like we talked about. So the question is, why is this happiness that we are experiencing through all of this technological advancement and increased lifespan and everything? Why is it not there for a longer time? Why is it not giving us permanently? Why is it not keeping us permanently? So then our Shastras will say, these are called Purusharthas, or the goals of life. Artha, Kama, Moksha is what we call as permanent happiness. And all of this attained through Dharma. So these are called the goals of human life. So why are we not, attaining permanent happiness? Shastras will tell us there are three things which stand in the way. One is what is called adhyatmic. So my own self, my own what's going on in my mind, my own thoughts, my own desires, the stories which I make up. So all of this stands in the way of us feeling happy no matter what we get. That's one. Second thing is the world around us, Adi Bhautik. So the world around us. So yes, I'm happy with what I have until I go on to Facebook and I see that someone has something else. Until I go on to Insta and I see someone has something else. Until I go on to TikTok and I see there's a product version of it that's available and somebody is owning that. So, yes, I'm happy until I see someone else. So, the people around us, the situations around us are another reason we become unhappy. And then there are things which are out of our control. We call that Adi Devik, take COVID, we could not control. There are things, a lot of things beyond our control. We see a lot of geopolitical things happening in the world today. A lot of things are not under control. So there are various factors which are not under our control, which also make us unhappy. What the Gita does is it basically tells us for each of these which stand as barriers in the way of making us happy, what can be done so that the happiness that you experience, it stays with you. So that is why the Gita becomes even more relevant. Today's world, we say, is very volatile, it's uncertain, it's very complex, it's very ambiguous. There are a lot of terms thrown around it. Now it's a VUCA world, a lot of terms we talk about it. In such a situation, how do you overcome these barriers? How do you go ahead in spite of all of these obstacles and have a more solid foundation for happiness which lasts for a longer time? So this is what the Gita is all about, and therefore even more relevant today for today's youth who are facing such a complex world, such a world which is always in turbulence, much more than what we might have seen a few generations back.
Yes, sir. Yes. Truly, sir. I think it completely believes with you completely, and I think today's generation need a lot of learnings of Gita because it also gives a lot of positive energy at the same time. We need a lot of positive energy because seeing around what is happening in the current situation in the world, it also make us feel somewhere little uh, with the technologies we feel strong, but with the certain calamities or the situations which is happening side by side is somewhere making us feel also low and also frightened about our future. A lot of things are happening. The AI which is into the use currently, which has been innovated, is actually the most dangerous thing for our future at the same time. So basically, two of the things, every coin has two sides. So I think definitely a youth or everyone especially needs that positive energy, and through Gita only we can attain that, and we should definitely go and learn the Gita and just feel about what things are happening. So thank you for sharing, such a beautiful, sir, description that you shared just right now with all of us, with all the audience which we have today. So my another question to you would be, if someone who is small, a kid, but also an adult, now he want to or she want to start learn the Gita, so how he can start, because there are so many people like me who don't get time to learn Gita, or like who is not able to even start the first step to learn the Gita. They wanted to know, they wanted to attain that all positive energies and the mantras which we have with us in a holy book and with our dharma Hindu. So we wanted to know like how we can and how anyone can start. And also, sir, what are the five important mantras for any youth to attain success in life? So basically, how if you can yes, please answer.
Okay. It is just like learning Gita. Uh, at different stages of life, you will have to take a slightly different approach to it. Now, if I'm learning a language when I'm 20, the approach is much different from the way I'm learning a language when I'm 3 years old. So you'll have to take a slightly different approach to it. So, if you're a child, of course, or if you are the parent of a young child, here's what I would recommend. Okay. Teach them the slokas, let them learn it by heart. It's very important. And it's these days we hear a lot of people say, oh, no, you don't have to learn to by heart everything. It's enough if you take the essence of it, if you take the meaning of it. Yes and no. If I did not by heart the alphabet, if I did not know the words of English by heart, if I were to refer to a dictionary every time I have a conversation with you, with our audience on the YouTube live, how would this conversation go? It would never progress if I were referring to a dictionary every time. It's only because I have the vocabulary, I have internalized something, that I'm able to reproduce it in an intelligible way, in a way which is coherent. So, as a young child, young children have phenomenal capacity to absorb what is happening around them. They have phenomenal capacity for memory. So this is the time when you actually have to take advantage of it. It might seem like rote learning, but that's how we learned multiplication tables. And you have to learn that for you to survive in this world. That's how we learned addition. This is not just about working in the world. This is about yourself. This is about life. This will go much more than multiplication and addition. So it is important to learn it by heart. So young children, parents of young children, make it a point to learn the shlokas by heart. And Sanskrit, has particular shabdas in it, the pronunciation, all of that matters. What happens is once this goes into you, once you learn it by heart, over time you will start reflecting on its meaning. It will come out at some other point in time, you will start reflecting on its meaning. Okay. So once when you're about a teenager, the thing what you will need to do is the question you have to ask yourself is, who lived these? So you have to look for models, you'll have to look for examples of people who have lived these values in the Gita. So look at the life of great saints, look at the life of people around you who have lived life as given in the Gita. Look at great people like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So these are people who have exemplified, who have lived a life as shown in the Gita. There are sons, there are mahants, there are so many social workers who live the life of the Gita. Read their stories, read what they have gone through life. If they have their autobiographies, read their autobiographies. You will know what has been their thought process. You will know that life has not been a rosy path for them. Life has been full of hardships, and how their belief, the Gita, all of this has kept them on the right path through life's ups and downs. So that's what you do when you're a teenager. You start looking for role models. So look for the right role models. And as you become, slightly more, advanced in age, you become a youth, 20s and so on and so forth, 20, 25, mid 20s and so on. start thinking about, how do I live this? So, I know something about the message of the Gita. I know it tells me, concentrate your mind. I know it tells me about yoga and so on and so forth. So now start asking yourself, because you're now capable of really thinking independently. You might have some amount of freedom to also act on your own, because you may be working, you may be in college, so you got little more freedom to do things that you want. Start asking, how do I practice this? And when you become an adult, as you advance in age, then bring it together with your life experiences. You're going through various life experiences. Connect each of these to what is said in the Gita. So these have to be the various stages of doing it. And it does not mean that as an adult you should not start learning to chant. In fact, what we see in Geeta Jayanti Singapore is, um, about 5-6 years after we launched the competition for children, a lot of adults came to us and said, can you have competition for adults? And we started it. And today you will see that in Singapore, there are a lot of adults who have joined classes, especially during COVID, because you had lockdowns and everything, and you could learn online. There are so many people teaching it online. There are so many adults who are learning to memorize the Gita. Of course, it's as an adult, it's difficult for us to do it, but as children, it's easier. But nothing stops us. So we had someone who was 80 years old come in and join us for a Gita chanting competition, as well as we've had children as young as 5 join us for Gita chanting competitions. So that is the impact that Gita can make. And one of the initiatives related to that is what is called 𝗂𝗍𝗂, and it's an initiative which Geeta Jayanti Singapore is spearheading. So what we do is to keep it very simple. Gita has 700 shlokas. We send out 3 shlokas every day. Just the chanting portion of it, we send out 3 shlokas every day over WhatsApp, and it is structured in such a way that you can easily learn to chant it. So once you learn to chant it, you will then want to go and reflect on its meaning and so on. So if you're interested, 𝗵𝗃 ji, you had mentioned the links are available in the YouTube description. So you can search for Geeta Jayanti Singapore 𝗂𝗍𝗂, or you can just look at the link in the description, and please join us. We started this sometime in April, so we have covered about 5-6 chapters. But doesn't matter. We still have another 12 chapters to cover out of the 18 chapters, so you can still be a part of this journey of learning the Gita. Today is a good day to start, Guru Purnima. So do join, do enroll, and start receiving, your daily dose of Gita through this initiative of ours.
Definitely, sir. Thank you for sharing how beautifully that Geeta Jayanti Foundation is conducting and giving lot of values and learnings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita to everyone. And I think it's so I'm still, feeling little bit, means I'm really feeling strong to own myself. Like, yeah, there is something good is happening. Even, so, what I believe is when you talk to some people who are very knowledgeable, right, there is some positive aura which creates. And I can really feel that energy right now. Right now, this energy is flowing from Singapore to India. And I think to all the audience who are there with us, hearing you, learning lot from you. So I think thank you so for, sharing such a valuable thing. And I would request everyone who are there today, we have shared the link, the JPG link over your description about the Geeta Jayanti Foundation. You can just go and check that. Once it is live, that's been stored, you can also go and check that. And if you wanted to join the Geeta Jayanti Foundation, do let us know in DM so that we can share the numbers and you can directly connect with the Singapore Geeta Jayanti Foundation.
So
So, listener,
𝗵𝗃 ji, you had also
yeah,
asked me about what are some key messages, 5 key
yeah,
messages. So let me
yeah,
make it, let me summarize it. The first thing I think, not just Gita, but all our Shastras basically say is, aim for the highest, which is the highest amount of happiness for the maximum time for the maximum number of people. So nothing less than the best for us as humans, because we are, like we said, we are evolved beings. So we should go towards what is called moksha. Or moksha does not mean something, a place where you go after you die. That's not the concept in the Hindu dharma at all, in the Sanatana dharma. The idea is living here today, you experience permanent happiness while doing everything that you're doing right now. So, if you're doing your Seva with my organization, if I'm doing my Seva with Geeta Jayanti, if I'm doing my professional work, whatever I'm doing, we do all of that while experiencing happiness, permanent, happiness. So that is what is basically called as moksha. So we have to attain that. That should be our goal. And if that has to be our goal, one key thing that we need to work on is this, that we have to keep our mind under control, because that is probably the one thing which we can control. The people around us, we cannot control much. The world events, again, we cannot control much, but we can keep our mind under control. The idea is, there's a beautiful shloka in the Gita which says, Matra sparshast kaunteya shitoshna sukhadukkadaha agama payino nityaha tam titikshasva bharata. What it says is, summer comes, winter comes, spring comes, autumn comes. Like the weather keeps on changing, happiness and sorrow will come and go. What we need to develop is what is called titiksha, or forbearance. So it's a very beautiful shloka, and this is usually summed up in a very short phrase which says, even this will pass away. So when you're very, very happy, tell yourself, even this will pass away. Even the happiness is going to be replaced by something else. When you are really down, when you are, when you feel that, there's nothing more to do in life, then remember this, even this will pass away. So that's a key message of the Gita. Develop that forbearance, develop that control of your mind. And to do that, so first one we saw was set your goals high for happiness. If you want that happiness, be in control of yourself, be in control of your mind. So then the question is, how do we do this? Okay. The first thing, Krishna, he's very, very, very clear about this, is you cannot control your mind, you cannot attain happiness if you do not do any action. So do not be idle. He calls that tamas or tamasic qualities. Do not be idle. Do whatever duty is given to you, whatever your swadharma is, whatever your duty is, do it. And in doing the duty, so like I said, if you're doing with Mike, if I'm doing with Geeta Jayanti, if I'm doing with my company, do all of that. No running away from your duties. If you're a son, if you're a daughter, if you're a father, if you're a mother, if you're a wife, if you're a husband, whatever it is, if you're a disciple, if you're a guru, whatever you are, you will have to do your duties and do those duties. And while you're doing all of these duties, the fourth point is, know what you can control that. You can control yourself. Whatever you cannot control, accept it. So there are things which are beyond our control. Accept that. Okay. And the final point is whatever you had mentioned. You mentioned so beautifully about the energy flowing. And that is only possible if you associate yourself with the right people, with people who contribute to your development. We call it satsang. What is satsang? Company of good people, company of people who are willing to develop themselves, develop you. So have that in mind. And Krishna promises this very clearly. He says the ultimate satsang is me. So he says, even if others don't give you the satsang, I will give you the satsang. So he makes a beautiful statement in the Gita. He says, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Hey Kaunteya, hey Arjuna, know this. My devotee will never perish. So ultimate satsang is, he is the satsang. But in the meanwhile, we got a lot of positive energy, like you said, flowing through a lot of positive things. Use the social media for these purposes instead of comparing ourselves and saying who's got a better iPhone or who's got a better car or who's got something else. Let's see what interesting thing, what social service, what seva is another person doing. How can I be a part of it? So those are certain key messages which I think are important takeaway for youth and for all of us from the
Yeah.
Gita.
Wow, sir, I'm thrilled to learn this all five important points, and I'm sure like all the people who are there with us, listening to you would surely relate to that and would definitely amend to that and to follow that and to believe that and to go with the same, to the direction that you have shared today. So, sir, some important questions I would like to, because I know that the time we have only 10 minutes and I have little bit time only, and I need to cover some very important questions which I have right now. So, I'll ask the very important question is, sir, that is, I have the two questions which I'll, combine in a one question only to know the aspects of the Gita. These questions has came to a lot of people from MIC organization where a lot of youth wanted to know, and this is also a question from Mary Prerna team, who is a motivational team. So, sir, my one question is about the Lord Krishna says. The Lord Krishna has said that कर्म करो फल की चिंता मत करो. Do what, do your work without any expectations, whether it's not about your result or about the fruit. So how, like, today's generation will, believe that, you know, and how, to perceive that, because we have somewhere believed with our family generation and the sanskars that we have, attained. But sir, somewhere in the life circumstances, we need to, believe that. So this Krishna says, so how Krishna has, beautifully summarized that, wanted to know. And then second thing is the law of attraction and the law of karma. Are they correlated to each other or they are different from each other? So these would be the two important questions I think we wanted to know, as an about the Gita in more specific way. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll keep my answer succinct. So the question that you asked in terms of saying, do your work, don't expect any results. You're referring to the second chapter where he says, "Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalahe turbuhu ma te sangosta avikarmani." So we have this habit of only taking the first part of the verse and not looking at the second part of the verse. That happens in a lot of places. So the first part is says karmaneva adhikaraste. You have the adhikaritvam, or you have the, let's say, the responsibility, okay, to do your karma, to do your duty. Ma phaleshu, not for the results of the action. So then the question which is usually asked is this: so does this mean I should not set any goals? So if I not expect any results, if I don't set any goals, how will I achieve everything? We are all goal driven after all. So what is the point of a goalless life? That becomes the question. So let's be very clear. When I was telling you the 5 things or 6 things that for you, the first thing I said was set your goal very high. So nowhere in the Gita does Krishna say don't do any goal setting. In fact, he says set your goal much higher than anything else which we usually set. We usually want things that are there in this world. We talk about happiness, but we don't really know. But he says have permanent happiness. That is what you should set your goal for. So definitely go. Karmanyeva adhikaraste is a very practical tip that Krishna gives us. We were talking about what are the barriers to feeling happiness. The first thing we said is ourselves. The second he said is people around us. The third thing, not just people around us, our relationship with the people around us. Just don't blame the people around us, how we relate to the people. And the third one is the world around us. The only thing which we can really, really control is ourselves, our mind, our action. Everything else, no matter the best efforts you put in, there will be misunderstandings between you and your best friend, between you and your mother, between you and your father, between you and your spouse. There is always be some kind of a misunderstanding. Something will not go well. So the world, of course, completely out of our control. Very few people can claim to have any control over happenings in the world. Okay. So what Krishna says is you can control one thing, your efforts. Do that. The rest, whatever you cannot control, accept it. It may be good. You may win a lottery the next day. Accept that also. But remember, even this will pass away. Okay. You may land up becoming bankrupt because you started a new business, you started a new venture, you wanted to try something new. Maybe it did not work. Remember, even this will pass away. So that is his way of saying, put in your best efforts. The second part of the line is very clear. He says, because of this, do not get into inaction. Don't say, because I cannot control things around me, because I cannot control people around me, I will not do any work. Why should I do any work? That is not the attitude which one should take in life, because that makes us no different from animals. We have been given an intellect, we have been given a mind, we have been given faculties of reasoning. All of this will only work if we do our effort. And when we do when we take all of these efforts, then the law of karma, the law of attraction comes in. Law of attraction is, if I can put it very succinctly, is about satsang. The more you associate with positive people, the more positive energies you get in. The more you go the opposite way, the more it will go. The law of karma is, you just take the law of attraction and you expand it to multiple births. So what basically the law of karma says is, whatever efforts, whatever things you have done, it will bear fruit. There is a uh, reaction to your action. It may occur in this life, it may occur in another life. So take the law of attraction and just expand it to a much bigger timeline, not just this lifespan, but over multiple time spans. And Krishna is very clear. He says, Arjuna is, he says, if I start doing all of these good things and if I die midway, what's going to happen? So Krishna says, don't worry, it will follow you into your next birth. So that's also the law of karma. Okay. So
Okay. So, okay, sir. So I think, sir, this beautiful answer is about the law of basically about the Krishna says, and the law of attraction and the law of karma is also correlated to each other. You share the same thing, right? It is similar thing. Okay, sir. Thank you for sharing the same, sir. And I think most of the people would surely wanted to know. I can see a lot of messages here, and I would request everyone else also, if you have any question, if you wanted to know anything here, please write down so that I can share the same question to Sir. And Sir Shri Anand Chandrashekhar sir is there with us today from the Geeta Jayanti Foundation, and will be happy to answer your questions as well. So, sir, I have a last question from myself, from my side, and from the organization, and from every one of us who are there today. We wanted to know how Geeta Jayanti Foundation is building young minds. What was the concept to, start this, and how this teachings of Geeta Jayanti Foundation is helpful to the little kids, to the young people who are there associated with the foundation. How it is helping us to, grow. And, basically the concept of, leading and learn the importance of life, sir, at the same time.
So, like I said, the Geeta Jayanti Singapore, it was started by visionaries. It was started by people who had a much farther vision than just themselves. They wanted this to grow not just for their benefit, but for the benefit of future generations. So that was the main idea, and that's why what we do is we do programs for all ages of people. Right from school going children, kindergarten children, where they learn to chant Gita, where they come in for art competitions, coloring competitions. We give them some theme based on Krishna. There is an amount of bhakti which develops. When you color a picture of Krishna, when you talk about Krishna Leela, when you reflect on Krishna Leela, there is an amount of devotion which comes in, shraddha which comes in. So this become important in a young mind, in an impressionable young mind. When you put in all of these right values, then it becomes very strong for them. As they advance in age, as they come to, let's say, a third standard or fourth standard, when they are around that age, we also introduce oratorical competitions to them, where they get to talk about some topics, and we structure it in such a way that is very relevant to them. Like, for example, last year, we gave them the topic which said, what is dan and how do I practice dan? So when a child, of course, it's a prepared script and everything, the parents help them prepare all of that done. But when the child comes and talks about what is done and how they practice done, when they talk in their own words, it goes into them that, oh, I spoke about this, I need to practice this. So that's the kind of small topic. They talk for 3 minutes about it, they talk for a couple of minutes about it. One of the topics we gave was, what is an important virtue to you, and what is that you commit to practicing it for the rest of the year? So when they come in January, when they have the competition and say, I want to be empathetic to people around me for the rest of the year, it kind of stands as a reminder to them in terms of practicing that. So that's how you get values into children. For the youth, fun games, there are youth forums, there are quizzes, there is essay writing, which causes them to reflect on topics more critically, analyze them, and come out with their own viewpoint. So they get to analyze and come up with their viewpoint. So these are various ways. Then for those who are doing art, performing arts and stuff, you can express it through dance, you can express it through music. And if you're really into intellectual debates, then we have the International Geeta Forum, where we bring in great minds and then they debate about it. They share their views. You can ask them questions. You can have interactions with them, and so on. So that's how we try to do. And we have seen tremendous results. I joined the organization as a person participating in the competition 20 years back when I first came to Singapore.
God, wow.
So that's how my connection with Geeta Jayanti started. I came in as a participant. I was a participant for a few years. Then what I started doing was I said, oh, let me volunteer my time. So I started volunteering my time to help conduct some of those competitions. And we have seen the same thing happen with a lot of other children. So people who are in school when I was, conducting the competitions, today they have taken up the mantle and they are conducting those competitions. They are trying to help the next generation do it. So this is how the message of Gita. This is the idea of parampara. We are talking of Guru Purnima. We are talking of the Guru Parampara. This is all the small things that we do to keep this knowledge which we have got. We pass it on from generation to generation.
Lovely to hear about this, sir. Lovely to hear about this. So, I'm so happy to, hear how Geeta Jayanti Foundation is doing such an amazing thing. So, how people can join the Geeta Jayanti Foundation? Because a lot of people are here, they wanted to know the process to join the Geeta Jayanti Foundation. So, I think it would be much, helpful to all of us to know about that as well. Yes, sir.
Sure, sure. So Geeta Jayanti here is largely based out of Singapore. Of course, during the 2 years of the pandemic, we had a lot of online programs. A lot of programs right now are based in Singapore. So if you're in Singapore, if you're visiting Singapore, please do make it a point. The website is geetajayanti.org.sg, or you can search for Geeta Jayanti Singapore, and it is updated with all of the events which are happening. At the end of this month, we are having Swami Sarvapriyananda from the Ramakrishna Mutt in New York, who's Ramakrishna Mission in New York, who's coming and giving 3 days of talks on chapter 2 of the Gita. We have a youth forum. We have a Gita Havan, which happens, and so on. So some of these events you may not, if you're not based in Singapore, you may not be able to attend in person. But typically these forum and other things, we post the images of, we post the videos of this in our YouTube channel. So you will be able to access it from there, no matter which part of the world you are in. And of course, a way of getting connected with Geeta Jayanti and with the subject matter of the Gita is to enroll for Ameya, where we send you 3 shlokas of Gita every day. And if you enroll today, you can start receiving it from, let's say, tomorrow or the day after. So today being a good day, I would really, invite all of you, invite all of the viewers here to join in this. We already have about 250 people who are in this, process of learning the Gita from April onwards. Please join us, and let's grow to a group of 500 or even 1,000. We are more than happy to facilitate the transfer of knowledge. So website is one where you will find all of the information. Please do visit the website.
Sir, thank you so much for sharing about the Geeta Jayanti Foundation. I think it was one of the most amazing session that we had. And it's the first live, YouTube session that we conducted today through the, YouTube, and also our first international live was also. I'm so grateful to, to have a word with you. Even I'm also thrilled and, excited how beautifully the little kids would, learn that visual arting about the Shri Krishna's values, how they talk, on their, orator sessions, when you would surely have in the time. It's so beautiful to, connect. And I think so what I've taken from you today is, you know, the beautiful learnings of the Krishnas at the same time, but how I can teach our children, because we have, sir, almost 14 centers in India, and we have almost like 3,000 children, and these 3,000 children are belonging to the slum area. So I think what I can do now is I can have a little bit of your learnings to indulge, and to give them some more time of about the Lord Krishna values, the Gita learnings, the beautiful paintings that you teach to the children, to learn more about the positive attitude and the the learnings of the Krishnas. So we'll definitely do that. So that is my promise. I think I can do from my side, that will take your learnings, and will also do, with the name of Geeta Jayanti Foundation, will support Geeta Jayanti Foundation in India, and will try to, make that more spread to the slum areas, to the kids that who are really in need of. That we can surely do from our side, sir. And I'll be grateful to forever to, have you in our sessions, in our live. And thank you so much to the team of Geeta Jayanti Foundation, and to you, sir. It's a my gratitude from my whole team of MIC, Mary Prerna and MIC Organization India, to accepting our invite to join the live today. And I'm really thankful to that you shared, and you have been there for almost 1 hour with us. So thank you so much, sir, and really happy.
Thank you, 𝗵𝗺 ji. It's really a privilege and honor to hear more about the work that you are doing, and to help in any way possible to uh, help do the seva to all those whom you seek to reach.
Thank you so much, sir. Glad to, connect with you once again. Thank you for joining us on the occasion of Guru Purnima. Namaste, sir. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste, sir. So, thank you, everyone. This is it for today's live session. This was the first Instagram, this was the first YouTube International Live with us today. And one more thing, that a lot of people have joined, a lot of beautiful comments that we have seen. Sir and I was, very much thrilled to, saw your positive, comments also, that we have, saw how beautifully you were being indulged in the session that we had conducted today, live from Singapore with Geeta Jayanti Foundation. So thank you so much once again to all the dear audience from Singapore and India, to be there, to being there with us for this live show. And thank you for giving us your, always your support. Thank you so much, everyone. Stay connected with us. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, sir.